Hey, good evening. It's Tuesday, April 30th. It's a great way to end the month with you. Thanks so much for being here and welcome back to Everyday Talk 24/7. We've been talking about the practicality of wisdom. And I want to expand that into the area of marriage, romance, and the romantic feelings that we have. As you know, as I mentioned before, I've had the privilege of doing a lot of counseling over the last 35 to 40 years. And this is one area where we as God's people have bought into the world's idea of what romance is all about, of what marriage is all about. And we have paid a heavy price for it. Our children are paying a heavy price for it. Our young women are paying a heavy price for it. And somehow we have kind of taken it as a given that our young men are going to be battling and succumbing to pornography. We have way too much abuse in the church. Abortion is rampant in our culture. One of the reasons I believe this is happening is because we have bought into the enemy's idea of what romance is all about. And in doing that, we have sold short the beautiful passion that God has for us. See, wisdom is something that is designed to impact every area of our life. It's an acquired skill that results in a masterful understanding that the end goal is not to score points or to look intelligent, but the end goal is to protect our hearts. And today I'm speaking specifically to the hearts of our young women. We have not protected them. We have not opened the windows to wisdom for them. We've got to help protect the heart. As I mentioned last night, no English word combines the combination, the interplay of the intellect, the senses and the sensibility, and the will of the Hebrew meaning of heart. We don't have any English word that comes close to that. Our idea of heart is very emotionally driven, very narrow. But what the Proverbs teach us, what the wisdom literature teaches us, is that the heart is the center of all of a person's emotion, their intellect, their religious drive, their moral activity, even their romantic thoughts, biblically should come under the heading of wisdom. This is why the heart must be protected. Above all else, Proverbs says this. Above all else, guard the heart because it is the source of your life. 4:23. In chapter 2 of Proverbs, we get a very specific window into this, a warning. Chapter 6 of verse 2 says this, for the Lord gives wisdom. From his mouth come knowledge and understanding. And then there's a little brief interlude there, and then verse 10 connects to verse 6 in this way. If you pursue wisdom, then wisdom will enter your heart, and knowledge will be pleasant to your soul. In other words, you will develop a positive appetite, a desire for wisdom. That will make discretion, verse 11, protect you, and understanding will guard you. And there's no area where this is more important than the whole idea of what we call romance when we start talking about feelings of wanting to get married and that attraction that happens. The only way to protect our hearts, the only way to protect our young women's hearts, is with biblical understanding of wisdom. Not a narrow understanding, but the rich pursuit of that. The only way to protect your romantic desires, young women, applies to men too, but right now for you women, listen to me. The only way to protect your romantic desires is with wisdom. Men whose treasure is not romantic, biblical wisdom, if that's not their treasure, they are predators. Hear me again. Men who are not driven by a biblical sense of romantic wisdom are predators. Some more harsh than others, but predator in the broad sense, someone who wants to take something from you. We've got way too many young men who are predators. That's why we've got this plague of pornography happening to them. You see, if we can train desire, develop an appetite for the inner wisdom, the beauty of a heart given to God, this will transform your perception of physical appearance. I'm not being crazy here. If you, in your heart, recognize and long for biblical wisdom, biblical romantic wisdom, it will transform the way you look at someone. So as we see Samuel talking about the sons of Jesse, who they seem beautiful in appearance, he says, God doesn't look on the outward, he looks on the inward. That's what God is after. If you have a pursuit of inner beauty, of someone who is after God, it will transform the way you look at them physically. If all we do is look at them physically, it will throw us in the wrong direction. We need wisdom to discern inner beauty. That's what the Proverbs are here for. We need wisdom to interpret our romantic feelings. Listen to what Jesus says in Luke chapter 6. The good man out of his good treasure of his heart brings forth what is good, and the evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth what is evil. This is what I was talking about earlier. If the heart is given to really good things, biblical wisdom, biblical view of romance, biblical view of what is really special and beautiful, not just the outer, but the inner first, that's good. But if they're not, there's no middle ground. What's happening is evil. That's where the predator comes from. For his mouth speaks from the abundance of his heart. So he may be saying certain things that sound right, but do his actions line up with that? What does he really value? Is there substance there? See, if you treasure wisdom, it will radically transform the way you view people romantically. Young women, you need romantic, biblical wisdom to know how to discern the heart treasure of the man who wants your heart. You can't trust him. You can trust the wisdom of God to know his heart. And that's where your security comes from. I've seen this over and over and over again. They may not intend to be, but let me repeat, men who are not given over to biblical passion for romantic wisdom, biblical wisdom, are predators. But praise God, that could be transformed by a pursuit of the things of God. So we can't trust the flesh, but we can trust the wisdom given to us by the Spirit. And that's the thought for this night. Again, I'm hoping to spur some thoughts, some interaction. I'm going to put this in my future husband playlist as well. This is so important for us, so important for our young women. Let's be protected from the wrong view of romance and buy into the biblical view, which can result in a passion that will blow our minds. Thanks so much for being here, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow on May 1st. Have a great night. Bye-bye.